Welcome to the fastest stop in town. Today on Masechtas Be'ed Daf Vav, we are going to begin on the very top of Vav Amud Aleph. Omer Rabbi. So Rabbi says, Meis b'yom tov rishon. If an individual dies on the first day, so the law is askubo amamin. On the first day of Yom Tov, we ask those people who are not Jewish to involve in the kfura. However, Meis b'Yom Tov Sheni, if let's say it's the second day of Yom Tov, then Yisasku bo Yisrael. Then we even will allow a Jewish person to be involved in the kfura. We are going to be so lenient that even when it comes to the Shnei Yom Tov and Rosh Hashanah, which we said on yesterday's daf, no b'zeh, sur b'zeh. However, for the sake of a mace, we are going to be lenient. Mashenkin ben Beitzah, as we said, not like by an egg, says Rashi. In Beitzah lo hikilu b'yom tov sheni the Rosh Hashanah l'shabbos l'chol goyos the ilu Rosh Hashanah no d'bezeh sur b'zeh. Nardoya Omer says Apa Beitzah, even when it comes to an egg, the my daitach dilma ma'avri leil elul. Maybe you're going to tell me that there'll be an extra extra day of Rosh Chodesh. And therefore, today is not Rosh Hashanah, but tomorrow is Rosh Hashanah, so the second day is really Rosh Hashanah. Ha'omer Chinna bar Kahana, Omer Rab, Nimos Ezra Be'elech, L'metzinu Elom Uber. We've never found that the second day is a mole, and therefore the second day of Rosh Hashanah is really not the true day. Says Rashi, Kitakana Harishona limnois miyom sheni laso shnei yomim kigon shulbo ad yom shloishim echad. Again, what if the witnesses don't come? So then it's pretty clear that really the second day is Rosh Hashanah. So again, from Ezra and on, we've never seen this happen, says Rashi Valpapi. Shetiknu lo ira, it never happened. Shba edim in a minchamal. No one ever came. Chutz me'oiso hapam, except for that one time that we mentioned where there was a mistake. Yedayin lo niskana. Most Ezra Mishum Biyam Avruhu. In his days, it actually did happen. From then afterwards, not, as it's brought down in Sefer Nehemiah of Yom Hasheni of Rosh Hashanah Mishtoi, that it was actually the second day was Rosh Hashanah. Omer Mar Zutra Lo Omrun Ela Dishtoi. The only time we say on the second day that we allow the Yisrael, a Jew, to involve in the Kfura, is only in a situation where the mace is left over. But if it didn't happen that way, then we'll push off to the next day. Rashi says, we have the concern that maybe the body will decay, it'll be a lack of kavod of mace. However, if that's not something we have to concern ourselves, then we'll push it off. So on this, the Gemara continues, Ravashi Omer, Afapi Deloishtoi. It doesn't matter, even if the body will not decompose, Nami Loy Mashinanle, we're not going to delay. My time, Yom Tov Sheni L'Gabi Mace, Kichol Shabar Rabbanan. No matter what, we're going to be lenient when it comes to a mace, it's going to be considered like Chol. Question 13. Ha'im Mutter Likvar Mace B'Yom Tov Sheni Shogoyas Alidei Yisrael. So again, if we're talking about that mishtoi, that the delaying is going to cause the problem that the body may decay, then definitely it's mutter. However, below ishtoi, if it's not left over and the body will not necessarily decay, so that's a machlokus. Not only that, says the Gemara, that filu lemegas leglima, lemegas leasa, even to cut off for him garments like tachrichim or an asa, the myrtles, which they used to do to as part of the process of the burial. Says Rashi, Hadas hayamanuchan al mitas mace l'chavdai. They would actually put it on the casket. You're even allowed to do that as well. And then the Gemara says something very interesting. Omer Ravina ba'idna, but nowadays the ika chavroi chayshinan. What does that mean? Uma Risha. There's wicked people, Shayi b'mei parsim, they kaifin Israel lasas malachtan. They always make the Jewish people work. Uvi yomtiv haya nidchin mehen, on Yom Tov it was pushed off. So we would tell them, listen, it's Yom Tov. What do you expect? I have a day off. Now, if let's say all of a sudden they start seeing that we're involved in burying our dead, so they're going to start forcing us to do regular work. So therefore, because of that, we're choishish, and we will not do the kvur on this day, because otherwise they may cause us not to be able to do work at all. Okay, and Rashi also says over here, it says, Mari domi de asa de shari lemigze v'kamashman de afagav de tircha de lotzarchu el mishum kavodo oisin lo yosim edai muto asa so kivan de legabi meis kachol shavar rabbanon. Even though all we're dealing with is like a tircha ba'alma, nonetheless you're allowed to do it. If you look in this Tosfos says ve'ein loimer shesarch minyan achal hatiro kivan dezeh tam mishum chshasha v'avar hachshasha avar hatam. So the only time that we say we can't do it is because of these people. However, if let's say this concern removes, so then we can go back to our original takana. We don't say, like we mentioned in yesterday's daf, that you need a minyan achal hatiroi. Weiter. Ravina Havi Yosef came to Rab Asi. He was sitting in front of him, and it was Mishnei Yomim Tevim Shal Rosh Hashanah. It happened to be, it was during the days of Rosh Hashanah. Now the way it fell is that Yom Tov that year was on Thursday and Friday. So it was a 3-day Yom Tov. Now normally what do you do when it comes to Shabbos? You have to have food for Shabbos. So we know that there's a concept called an Erev Tavshilin. You make an Erev Tavshilin, and by doing that, you're allowed to make food on Yom Tov, and you'll save that food for Shabbos. Now, you should only be able to do this, eat on Shabbos, if you've made an Erev Tavshilin. So he saw Chazid Havi Otziv. He was upset. And why are you upset? You could say, well, it's Rosh Hashanah. No. Armelei Deloy Oisivi Eruvi Tavshilin. I forgot to make an Erev Tavshilin. So Armelei Loisiv Mar Ha'inna. So, okay, today is, we're in the middle of Rosh Hashanah. Why don't you just do it now? It's no problem. You could make an Erev Tavshilin on Yom Tov, and then you can make a condition. So what's the condition? On the first day of Rosh Hashanah or Yom Tov, you say, if today's Chol, so I'm making the Erev Tavshilin. If today is not the real day of Yom Tov, so what I'm doing doesn't count, but then tomorrow it will count, or you do it again tomorrow, and you say, okay, if today is really a weekday, I'm making Erev Tavshilin on Friday to Shabbos. If the first day, so then I already did it. So you should be able to make that condition on Rosh Hashanah. You can only work when it comes to, let's say, the first and second day of Sukkot. However, we mentioned when it comes to Shnei Yom Tov Rosh Hashanah, it's different. It's considered like a Yom Richta. It's like one day. It's Kedusha Achas. That's why Nilda B'Zeh B'Zeh. That when one's mutter, we're not going to matter in this situation because it's like one long day, so you can't make this condition. Beitzah Muteris. He says that Nilda B'Zeh Mutter B'Zeh. Says okay, fine, that's what he says. We don't pass like that. We pass like we hold like Rab that Nilda B'Zeh is also B'Zeh, as we see in the bottom of Haman Beis. Fine. Itmar. Let's say you have a baby chick that was born on Yom Tov. So we were talking about an egg that was born on Yom Tov. What if it's actually a baby chick that is hatched on Yom Tov? So Rab Omer Aser, Shmuel V'Teimer Rav Yochanan Mutter. As one could gather, here we are with another machlokas. Okay, now the question is, what is the basis of this machlokas? So Rab Omer Aser Moksahu. Well, it's a moksa because before it was in a shell, and all of a sudden, it's born. So that's noilad. So of course you shouldn't be able to eat it. Shmuel v'yitem Rav Yochanan Amar muter. Why? Hoyel mater atzmo b'shchita. Because it could be muter through shchita. Says Rashi. Hoyel mater atzmo b'li daso. When it's born, l'yos nishchat. You could shech the chick. Mashul hoyel lifnei li daso. something which you couldn't do before was in its shell. Ap muksa hiteras atzmo b'leidaso. So to the muksa is mater through its birth. The migu, the iskin laha. Since it's fit that you could do the shchita, so therefore it's fit here now. So Amrli Rav Kahana v'Ravasi l'Rav v'chima bein zel egel. How is this different than when it comes to a baby calf? Shenol b'yavtiv. Amrlahu hoyel muchan agav imoy b'shchita. We know that there's a din that if, let's say, like ben pakua, when you do the shchita and you find that which is inside the mother, that you could also eat its young inside of the animal. Says Rashi, everyone holds that you're allowed to eat the egel. Everyone says it's allowed. The reason is because you could do the shchita, and since you did the shchita of the mother, you'd have been able to eat the child now as well. So therefore, if the egel was born on Yom Tov, you could also eat it there too. So v'chima bein zel egel shenolad min hatreifa. Fine. V'chima bein ze. I want to make sure I didn't skip anything. So Amrli Rav Kahana Ravasi Rav v'chima bein zel egel shenolad b'yamtiv. So Mahu hoyel muchan agav imo b'shchita. And therefore, that's the reason why that's allowed. So Uma bein zel egel shenolad min hatreifa. What if it's born from a treifa, in which, of course, you wouldn't be able to do the shchita anymore? That's not going to help the mother because the mother's a treifa. So Shasik Rab. So Omer Rabbi Taim Rav Yosef, my time is Shasik Rab. Why was he silent? Leimuhu, why does he say Hoyo Muchan Agav Imo Klavim? Why don't we say that it's still fit that you can give the mother to dogs? Says Rashi. You could have given it to your dogs. You could have fed them at this particular time. You can't give this shell, which eventually a froach is going to come out. You can't give such an egg with a shell to a dog. They're not going to eat it. So there's no way it's mutter while it's in an eggshell. The apple hoyeroi, it's not fit for dogs. Hilkach noilodu. So why don't you just make that simple distinction? Why are you saying, you have a good question? It's not a good question. It's pashut. You can say that when it comes to the egg, it's not fit for dogs. However, when it comes to the mother, which is a treifa, okay, you can't shecht it, but you could still it still could have been given to dogs, and therefore an egel that comes even from a treifa should be fine. So Amrulei Abaya, as we continue to Vav Amud Beis, he says Hashta Muchan Adam Havi Muchan Klavim. Now that we're saying that something which is fit for a person is not considered to be Muchan Klavim, is not fit for dogs, how do we see that? Did not. We already had this, that Mechadchin Esadeluim Lifnei Habehema, that one is allowed to cut gourds and give it to an animal. We don't say that that's like a tircha, it's too difficult to do. The Esa Nevela Lifnei Klavim. Here we see clearly that you can give a nevela, a carcass, and you can give it to your dogs. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, he says it depends. Imo Hais Nevela Erev Shabbos, if this animal did not die before Yom Tov, on Erev Shabbos rather, Asura, because it's not fit. So what do we see? That even though it was Muchan L'Adam, that does not make it Muchan L'Klavim. It's not fit for dogs. So Muchan L'Klavim Havi Muchan L'Adam. So the fact that it's fit for a dog, all of a sudden we're going to say that you can eat its young, its egel. No, certainly you shouldn't be able to do that, because we're saying over here that if it's not fit for a person, it's not going to be fit for a dog. So, however, when it comes the other way around, certainly it shouldn't be. Certainly in you're right. When it comes to something which is fit for a person to eat, that doesn't mean we're going to say it's fit for your dog, and therefore you cannot give this nevela to the dog unless it was from before, because we say even though it was muchan l'adam, it's not muchan l'klavim. Why? The madachazil inish lo shadli l'klavim, because at that time it was fit for you. It was muchan l'adam, and if it's something which a person is going to eat, we're not going to say, oh yeah, I'm also going to give it to my dog. So therefore, even though it had das for a person to eat it, that doesn't mean that it's going to be eaten by a dog, and therefore it has to be before Shabbos that it became an avela. However, muchen l'klavim, it was fit. You can throw it to a dog. Havi muchen l'adam. The daited inish akol midi l'chazilei. Okay, fine. Even though it's true, you could give it to a dog, but it's still possible that it's young, the egel, that you would still want to eat it, and therefore it is acceptable. So it's true, even though something which is muchen for a person is not muchen l'klavim, and that's why again you cannot give your nevela in front of a kelev according to Rabbi Yehuda unless it was a nevela from before Shabbos. However, the other way around, it's not true. If it's muchen for a dog, it is muchen for a person. Okay, question 14. If royach shenoyel b'yamtiv, ma tam deman datiroi. Why would he allow a chick that was born on yamtiv? So the reason is the migu the iskin b'lidasai, since it was fit when it got born, latir b'shchita, you could have shechted it. So iskin nami latir mishum muksa. So therefore, the din muksa is removed. My shna me'egel hanod min a treifa aman de asro. Because noil, when it was born from a treifa, it's muchan agav ima l'klavim. It's fit to give to dogs. Muchan l'klavim, muchan l'adam. And something which is fit to give to dogs is fit to give to people. So, fine. Okay. Weiter. Tani kibas to the Rav, tani kibas to the Shmuel. So now we're going to find support to the shittas of both Rav and Shmuel. Tani kibas to the Shmuel, v'yitem Rav Yochanan. Okay, so what are those opinions? Again, this whole machlokas, when it comes to this efroyach that is born, what the din is, what the status is it allowed to be eaten or not? So we're going to have brises that support both opinions. Tani Gavas to the Rav. Egel shenol b'yamtiv. When you have a calf that's born on yamtiv, mutter, so you're allowed to eat it. Efroyach shenol b'yamtiv, aser. So it says beferish, like his shita, that, which is what Rav says, Rabbi Yochanan mutter Rabbi aser muksahu. So he says that, okay, an egel you're allowed to eat, but not this egg, which hatched from this egg a chick. This afreich that you're not allowed to eat. So again, it's in support to Rav. So again, the Gemara asks the question, Uma hefresh bein zelazet. So why is the egg, the chick aser, but the egel is mutter? So then muchan agav ima b'shchita, because this one would have been mutter through shechting the mother. Is that enu muchan agav imo? However, you can't shecht it in its shell, so therefore it is aser. Tani Gavas to the Shmuel v'yitem Rabbi Yochanan, who says it's allowed. Egel shenod b'yamtiv mutter. Not only that, b'efar shenod b'yamtiv mutter. So my taima, why is it mutter? Zeh muchan agav imo, zeh mater atzmo b'shchita. That's what we said, because it maters itself through shchita. Tanabana. Efreich shenod b'yamtiv aser. So again, apparently we have this another opinion that when it comes to a chick that's born in yamtiv, it's aser. Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov Omer af b'chol aser. You can't even eat it on a weekday. Why not? Lefi shaloi nispaschu einav, because its eyes have not been opened. When it's a baby little chick, kaman azal hadasanya l'chol hasheretz hasheretz al aretz l'rabos efreichim shlo niftachu einehem. When it didn't open its eyes, then it still has the status of a sheretz, in which the pasuk says lo sochelu, you're not allowed to eat. So come on, Rabbi Eliezer ben Yaakov. Amar Rav Huna Amar Rav Beitzah im Yitziyasa Nigmara. So we're going to start off with this, and we're going to continue this thought with a couple other terutzim in tomorrow's daf. It says an egg, with its being born, when it comes out, it is complete. What does that mean? Ma im Yitziyasa Nigmara. That when it comes out, it's complete. So ilema. Maybe it means im Yitziyasa Nigmara. Only when it comes out, it's complete. Umuter salacha b'cholav. And then only at that point you're allowed to eat this egg with milk, which is mashma, ha b'me'ima, while this egg is still in its mother, asur lecha b'cholav. They're not allowed to eat it with milk, but it's not true. The sanya hasheichet as a tarnagol, so masa b'beitz and gemuros. If you shecht a tarnagol and you find complete eggs inside, mutar lecha b'cholav. You're allowed to eat those eggs with milk. So it doesn't matter if those eggs came out of the mother. or they were found in the mother, and you shechted the mother, and you found those eggs, either way, you're allowed to eat them with milk. So you can't say that is the distinction. Ella means like this. Imitziyasa nigmra, it means umeteres achal b'yamtiv. That if the egg actually came out of the mother, then you're allowed to eat it on yamtiv. However, if let's say you shechted the mother and you found these eggs and it was yamtiv, you're not allowed to eat those eggs. It's not true. But Tanya, you are allowed to eat them. It's not a problem. Because after all, you're allowed to do the shechita, and like ben pakua, what's inside the mother, you're allowed to eat. Maybe one is coming to explain the other one. We already learned this. We had this machlokas regarding an egg. The whole machlokas is if it's born, when it's actually in the mother, the whole machlokas is if it actually came out. But if it's inside the mother, you did the shechita on Yom Tov. You're allowed to shechita on Yom Tov on this tarnagol, so you're allowed to eat the egg inside. No, maybe Beis Hillel is saying even it's usher inside. So why does it mention our Mishnah that it was born? Is to tell the Chiddush of Beis Shammai that even if it was born, even if it came out, it's still mutter. It says again that you're allowed to eat these eggs on Yom Tov. So, Mani, who is that like? Below Beis Shammai, below Beis Hillel. Well, when it says that you shechted a tarnagol and you found these eggs, you're allowed to eat them on Yom Tov. It's not like Beis Shammai and not like Beis Hillel. We're saying maybe it's not, Beis Hillel holds its saucer. No, in Beis Shammai, we're saying that it's a bigger chiddush, says Rashi. Beis Shammai the my arya b'me'ima. Why is the talking it's inside? If you'll know the b'yom tov sharia. Below Beis Hillel, they feel b'me'ima siri. So you can't tell me that that's the pshat, because otherwise the statement would not be like Beis Shammai Beis Hillel. Rather, Beis Shammai Beis Hillel, the whole argument of our Mishnah is dafka that the egg was actually came out of the mother. Once in the mother, it's definitely mutter. So therefore the question is, what is the statement? So we're going to at least now see one answer. If it comes out, this egg is complete, it means that it's able to produce chicks. It's able to produce offspring once it's born, once it's taken out of the mother. B'me'ima, in which means it's probably not complete, even if we say gemuros, but it's not complete so much. It cannot produce offspring. So that's all it's coming to tell you. That only, even if it looks like it's complete inside the mother, that egg, if let's say the chick eventually comes out, right, when you shecht it and you take the egg out, that chick is not able to produce offspring. So why do we care? What's the difference? But my nafkamina is l'mekach when it comes to business transactions. When you buy an egg, and you buy an efrayach, you may want it to eat it, or you may want it to be able to reproduce. And if your purpose is for it to reproduce, so then you're going to very much want to make sure that it was an egg that was already came out of the mother. Ki Yahudi Armelahu, like a person said, Bay, as we continue to Zayin with Aleph, the Pachia Laman. These eggs which are squawking, to whom? Says Rashi, Kamo the Paya Hanaladim in Atarnagayos Chaya Shapua B'lei Dasa. In other words, it was born. So Yoim Beya Deshruta. So this person who really wanted one which was actually came out of the mother, he gave him an egg which came from a mother which was shechted, which means that it was not able to produce offspring. This was a improper transaction, behadar, and therefore he has to go back and give him his money back, because this is not what he wanted. He wanted to get a chick in which was able to produce offspring, and that's only an egg that actually came out of the mother. So pshita, l'chayra, it's a davar pashit, that's a mekach toast, because he explicitly said he wanted a particular type of egg. So manatema, haylachil kaboy. Well, who maybe the truth is all he wanted to do is eat the egg. So why did he mention this language of squawking, which means that it actually came out of its tarnagol? Mishum tsarivan, because it would be more complete, it would be more done. He really just wanted to eat it, but he figured that let it be this type of an egg because it means it's going to be more full and big. So my nafkamina, what's the difference? You would think maybe you would think that all you have to do is give him the price difference between an egg which is really big compared to pretty big. So that's what you would think. No, Kamash Malon, it's mamash and mekach. His intention was not lachila. His intention was for it to be able to produce offspring. And since it did not come out, therefore will not be able to produce offspring, therefore in fact it's a mekach. Okay, let's continue with TA. We're going to stop there. Question TA11. Ma din. What is the law of an egel shenoila min hatreifa b'yomtiv? If it was an egel was born from a treif on yomtiv, madua. What is the reason for it? Uma din efrayach shenoila b'yomtiv. Umadua. Okay. So an egel, the egel is mutter, even if it came from a treifa. Hoyo umuchan agav imo leklavin. Because you could give this treifa to dogs, and therefore, since it's muchan leklavim, it's muchan to adam. L'chad madirmi mishum hitter atzmo. The froyach is a machlokas. Do we matir isharini mishum hitter atzmo b'shchita? Do we say it's mutter because it is mutter b'shchita? Okay. Let's see. TA12. Amarabba beishami omer. Okay, we'll see that tomorrow. TB13. Same type of a question. If an Efrayach that's born on Yom Tov, he mutter bo bayom. So he said that is a machlokes. And the question is, how about an egel shenod mit a treifa b'yom tov, he mutter bo bayom? And the answer is yes, it is mutter. Adkan.